How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going through a subreddit called CS Career Questions and looking at the top posts throughout the past year.
Like my genie in a bottle, this can get me rich, look like a magazine model. Before you know it, he have her on a stroll, fresh and right, perplexing like.
Alright guys, so today we're going to be going through a subreddit called CS Career Questions. If you guys are not familiar with CS Career Questions, it's basically a subreddit that has over 330,000 members currently. Like right now alone, there's over 4,000 people online. And so people on this subreddit basically post anything related to computer science, everything from getting jobs to getting laid off from jobs to compensation to doing something with production databases or asking questions about jobs or interviews, really like anything related to computer science. I feel like you will find a whole spectrum of posts on this subreddit that are totally random, and oftentimes they're actually really funny. So I thought it'd be really fun in the spirit of 2020 to basically go through the top posts over the past year and kind of just read through them, react to them, and talk about them, because this subreddit is pretty insane. So let's just first filter by the top. Let's go through the last year and let's get started. So the first one we have here, so this is, I guess, the most popular post this past year. It says, I got fired over a variable name. This is going to be good. The person goes on to say, at my now former company, we use a metric called SHOT to track the performance within a portfolio. It's some in-house calculation no one else uses, but it's been around for 20 years, even though no one remembers what the acronym is supposed to mean. My task was to average it over a period of time with various user-defined smoothing parameters to accumulate it in essence. Okay, so some variable or something they're, I don't know, calculating something awesome. When do they get fired? So I don't like long variable names like accumulated shot metric or sum of shots so far. So what is ultimately just the accumulated shot value, so I gave it the short name shot. All right, I don't think we really need to go further than that. All right, moving on to the next thing. 4.8 thousand upvotes. It says my CS story contradicts everything I've read on this subreddit. I browsed the subreddit for a couple of years, different accounts, and I always see the same thing: leak code or you won't get a job. Salary is the most important thing. And they've learned the exact opposite, apparently. They say that they've had 2 internships, wanted a Fortune 100, no leak code asked, only basic object-oriented concepts. Now I have a job at a major defense contractor, a job everyone on this subreddit thinks is terrible, asked no programming questions. Only questions about my past experience. I get great benefits, Fridays off every other week, cubicles. Apparently they hate open offices, and a 75K starting salary. The work is incredibly chill, and I'm learning a lot while using mid to high level programming languages. To everyone out there on the subreddit freaking out like I did for years, this subreddit is not reality. I think that kind of sums up this video in a sentence, but let's keep going. It says, you don't have to be the best programmer to get a basic job. There's hope for you if you just want to work 8 hours and go home. Salary is not the most important thing. I definitely agree with that. Find what makes you happy and find a job that provides those criteria. Mine were cubicles, 70K, no overtime, programming languages I like, and that's it. So I actually really like this post. I think that this should be a higher ranked post than the previous post, and I actually agree with that as well. I think that if you want to work at large tech companies, generally speaking, you will have to kind of like look at leak code questions, know how to solve these like strange, weird riddles within 30 to 40 minutes, which oftentimes is kind of ridiculous in my very honest opinion, but that's kind of the, our job, and that's just really like where we are in computer science right now, and that's what we have to do if we want free snacks, unlimited vacation, and like nap pods or whatever Google has. So I agree with this. Salary is definitely not everything. I always tell people that as well. Like, you want to be doing something that you love. You want to wake up and go to work to every day and like not feel like you're going to work, ideally, even though it's still a job, right? It's a 4-letter word. It's work. But yeah, I really like this. And I think this goes to show you too, like, you don't have to grind leak code and other programming questions or like know how to solve these riddles. Not every company will ask you that, but in my experience, generally speaking, larger companies tend to lean that way, at least right now. All right, on to our third post, 4,500 upvotes. It says, this sub infuriates me. Before you get loads of comments telling me you just don't get it or you have no relevant experience and are just jealous, I feel like I have no choice but to share my credentials. I worked for a big N for 20 years, created a spin-off product that I ran till IPO, sold my stake, and now I live comfortably in the valley. The post on this sub depressed me. I discovered this on a whim, and when I Googled a problem my son was dealing with in his operating systems class, I continued to read through for a few weeks and feel comfortable in making my conclusions about that frequent. It is just disgusting. Encouraging mere kids to work through thousands of algorithms problems for entry-level jobs. Wow, I feel like that's almost like a direct roast of me, but I'm going to take it. Okay, moving on. But how much money you make by asking advice on offers you already know you're going to take. It depresses me if this is an accurate representation of modern computational science. This is an industry built around collaboration, innovation, and problem solving. This is never an industry defined by money, but by passion, and you will burn out without it. I promise you that. Enjoy your lives, embrace what makes you what you truly are passionate for, and if that is CS, you will find your place without having to work through elite code or stressing about whether or not there's more out there. The reality is that even though there exists more, it won't make up for you truly not finding fulfillment in your work. I don't know anyone in management that would prefer a code monkey over someone that genuinely cares. Please do not take the subreddit as seriously as it appears. Some do. It is unnecessary stress. So again, this is kind of like echoing the last post that we just read. And again, I would like agree with this to a degree. I think that you shouldn't, only worry about money. I think that this subreddit is really like kind of adding to the stress of I have to do leak code. I have to do 300 hard problems. I have to study all day, every day to get a job at Google. And, assuming that this person's telling the truth, they worked at a big end, they say for 20 years. They are kind of upset with, I guess, the shift in the industry. And I think it kind of makes sense too. Like, I don't think that these interviews that we do are typically always the best indication of someone's talent or whether or not they're going to be a good engineer. I feel like there's a disconnect between what we're asked to do on a whiteboard in 40 minutes and like me running a migration script on my day-to-day kind of job, or like, I don't know, reviewing a PR or like submitting a PR or doing any of the random things that I have to do or any other engineers typically do day to day. I think it's really compressed. People only look at this one aspect, which is like, can this person invert a binary tree? Can they reverse a linked list? Can they find the largest sum in a binary tree? Or on any of these like other random things that we have to do. And I don't think that is always indicative of someone's skill level. And I also think furthermore that, yeah, I do think you need to have a passion for it. I think if you are just in it for the money, like one, there's a ceiling to some extent. And I don't think that you're really going to get past that probably if you don't have a passion for it and you don't love what you're doing. And then on top of that, like, that's just not fun for you. Like, even though you have that money, I feel like maybe you need that money and then it's more justified. But if you just really want the money for the number or for fancy and flashy materialistic things, like, I think you're going to be pretty upset. So I think you should ideally love computer science and want to make a lot of money, I guess. So up to you. All right, 3,500 upvotes. It says, name and shame Zillow. I recently left the worst job in my life, a software engineer at Zillow in Seattle. Do not consider working there. It was the single most toxic work environment that I've ever experienced or heard about. Some of the lowlights. A male manager told a female manager that her script was so distracting that the meeting will grind to a halt or grind in another direction that made music sounds. He also suggested she couldn't get in an elevator with any of the sales guys, if you catch my drift. Wow, that is like, I don't even want to continue with this post. This is horrible, and that's like just disgusting. So we're going to move on. All right, 2,900 upvotes. It says, hiring manager, check in. You're probably better than this sub makes you feel like you are. Sometimes I see people in this sub getting down about themselves. I wanted to share a perspective from the other side of the desk. I'm currently hiring contractors for bug fix work. It isn't fancy. We're not in a tech hub. The pay is low, 6 figures. So far in the past 2 weeks, a majority of candidates have interviewed via phone, are reviewing their resume and having them do a simple coding test and are unable to call out the code for this. Print out the even numbers between 1 and 10 inclusive. Yikes. That is tough to read. That's hard. And like, I'm not saying I'm good at what I do. I'm not trying to act like I could solve any question, but like, that's like fizz buzz, but easier. And that's I felt that deep down. It said they can't do it. I'm not talking about getting semicolons wrong. One simply didn't know where to begin. 3 others independently started making absolutely huge arrays of things for reasons they couldn't explain. A 4th had a reason, not a good one, but then used mapped instead of filters, so his answer was wrong. That kind of sounds entertaining. Like, I feel like it'd be really sad to see people struggle through this, but I don't actually, to be honest, like, I don't even see, why is that even your coding test? That is, I think you need to rethink your coding test, whoever this is, but apparently it's too hard. It says, by the way, the simple answer in the language I'm interviewing for is to use a loop. I feel like that's what you would literally do in any language. You would do that in English. If I asked you to just say the numbers between 1 and 10 inclusive that are even, like, you're kind of just looping through in your head. Like, you can use an if statement in modulus if you want. Plus equals 2 seems easier, but whatever. I'm not sitting around trying to catch these folks. I honestly just want this part to go by quickly so I can get to the interesting questions. You're never going to get to the interesting questions, apparently, because these people don't know how to use a for loop. These folks' resumes are indistinguishable from a good developer's resumes. They have references, sometimes a decade of experience, and have worked for companies you've heard of, not Fang, of course, but other household names. So if you're feeling down, you're going for a normal job outside the major tech hub, this is your competition. You're most likely doing better than you think you are. Keep at it, hang in there. Breaking it in is hardest. Once you've done that, don't get complacent. You always stand out from the crowd. You got this. So that's kind of enlightening. I feel like that was a feel-good post, at least in the second half. It's like like a good ending to a book, even though it was really sad in the beginning. And I think it does go to show you that like some people have really good resumes. Some people like have the credentials to do a job, but then can't actually perform. And I think in a lot of ways, that's the same thing with these leak code questions as well. I think some people are really good at solving these riddles and problem solving, but not super good at the day-to-day work, which is, again, is why I think there's like a disconnect between what we do in interviews and then like what we do on the job. And you just never know. Like, it's hard to look at someone's resume always and know whether they're actually going to be a good engineer or not. But I do think you should, kind of like what this person is saying, like if you're feeling down, you're going for a normal job, like I think you'll be okay. And I agree. I think a lot of the things that we're asked to do in these interviews are just insane, like I've previously said. And if you're like aiming to go to Google, Facebook, Amazon, these bigger companies, and you're expecting to do, or perform at this level during the interviews, I think if you prepare for that level and strive for that level, you're going to fall, if you don't get it, I hope you do get it. But if you don't, I think you're going to fall somewhere here. You're not going to like practice FizzBuzz and then not be able to print the numbers 1 to 10 that are even inclusive. So hang in there, like this person's saying. I think strive for whatever level that you really want to be at. And at the very least, you might fall a little bit short, but then you could always build up to that. There's some saying, I think it's like, aim for the moon and if you miss, you'll like land amongst the stars or something. And I think that's basically what the person's saying. All right, we're going to go through one more post and just kind of talk about it because I think we're running a little long on this video, but we're going to end with this last one here. It says, unpaid internship opportunities are actually useful and you should apply to them. You can use them to practice your interview skills. If you get an offer, just tell them that you can't work for them because you got accepted for a paid internship. Not only do you get back at exploitive companies by wasting their time, but you could also be able to practice what you're going to say when interviewing at a real company. I don't know how I feel about this post. I feel like this is a waste of everyone's time. I feel like if you guys want to do mock interviews, there's like tons of different resources you can to do mock interviews. I feel like especially if you're just practicing what you're going to say to a real company, you could say that to anyone. You could do a mock interview with a friend. I could ask you behavioral questions. Like, there's a lot of different options. I don't think it's really worth it, like wasting some other company's time and resources to like practice your own interviewing skills. But like what I would suggest is that if you are interviewing for jobs and you are interested in working at, say, company X, and that is your top choice, I would definitely recommend lining up all your other interviews before that so that they can serve as practice for the big leagues. So that would be my advice there. I wouldn't really recommend like applying to jobs you're just not interested in. I think that if you are looking for jobs, I think it's good to apply to a handful, but just order them in such a way that like you're kind of backstacking everything you care about the most, and then use everything else that you're still interested in, but maybe they're not your number one pick, as your practice. All right, guys, so that's just kind of going through some of the top questions on, not even questions, I keep saying that, just going over some of the top posts on this subreddit, CS Career Questions. It's pretty interesting. If you guys want, you guys can definitely check it out. I don't think I advise you to or not. I think it's kind of interesting to read through and scroll through every now and again. But with that being said, like, be careful what you trust. Obviously we have no idea who these people are who are really posting these. And I think the overarching theme from some of these posts and just what I would tell you is like, relax. You guys will get a job. Keep working hard. Keep applying these companies, these jobs. And I think you really will get something after a certain point in time. I tell a lot of people that it's kind of just a numbers game. Like if you apply to 10 jobs, you might not get a job. If you apply to 100, you might not get a job. But at a certain point, you will. And if for some reason you really don't, I think you really have to rethink your strategy and the way you're practicing more than anything. But for the majority of companies, I feel like you're totally fine. Like, you don't need to do any of these insane questions. And I feel like this CS Career Questions subreddit a lot of times like kind of just reinforces and like lights that fire under people that make them freak out and make them really anxious about interviews and top tech companies and how much they make and what everyone else is doing, and I feel like you should kind of just chill and not worry about that if it's possible. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the video here. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave it a like and subscribe to the channel for more. If you guys want to see more videos like this, be sure to leave it in the comments and let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Like my genie in a bottle, bitch can get me rich, look like a magazine model. Before you know it, he have her on the stroll, fresh and ripe, complexion like Acapulco gold. If I had to guess just right, not a J.O. Like a cradle robber, copter off shop, a trailer load. Know the right number, you could get her.